Hi folks, so one last game from this round of the China versus Europe Championship. I wrongly assumed that this one actually wouldn't be on the Iron round, so missed the beginning. But here we are, so we have the losers bracket game between Robin and Super Duck, both from China, and it's round one. As you can see, we just, after some connection problems from both players, just reached that. So let's see what was set up and marshaled. We have the long plan for Robin playing his Knights of the Hollow Hill. This is not a reset deck as we saw in the last game we recorded from Robin. This is more like a Duran's game deck that tries to get the used plots. And on the other side, building orders for Super Duck playing Tyrell Lion, finding one of these locations with the plot. Let's have a look what was found. So Old Town Undercity for the draw, and this is a deck that plays constructively, gets some power on its characters with renown, and also has tools to disrupt the opponent with stuff like House Florent Knight. So very good, very strong deck. Won one of the previous games, as did this one. So we'll see how they match up. We have Robin starting better in terms of power, but not actually getting much from the long plan, which is yeah. So you get one or the other depending on how the opponent defends, I guess, and both are acceptable. And this guy Klitus, who takes care of initiative and lets you go first when you get your Intimidate armies, is very strong, and this is of course a tool to bring up the number of used plots pretty quickly. Behest going into something else, and Klitus wins initiative against Late Summer Fist and forces Super Duck to go first on this occasion, and we have exchange of information for the draw. And looks like 3 cards. So Begging Brother, Tarnish Wisdom, and Someone Always Tells. And Someone Always Tells, I think in this deck we saw in the previous game that Littlefinger's Meddling is one of the ways to play that. Okay, and Late Summer Fist is there presumably to get some characters in play. Okay, the Hound used on Klitus. That's a bit of a tempo hit here, because exchange doesn't get that much gold. Tarnish Wisdom to gain gold, and during the opponent's marshalling, yes, useful for playing some stuff if needed. And again, some connection problems, so the Iron Bank will have its due. Is I think it returned the Hound to hand, but the effect hasn't quite resolved yet, the effect of gaining the gold. and disconnected at the same time, so clearly having the same problem. Yeah, good of them to play on the Iron Throne where we can of course watch it, but it is a problem for the Chinese players sometimes. And okay, now it resolves, so Hand's Judgment trying to cancel the Iron Bank will have its due, and we have cancel for the cancel. So Super Dark does get the gold back. Penny comes in immediately to trigger the Undercity. And the Arbor, useful of course for the remainder of the game. Kind of immune to political disaster now with dupes on the two locations. And this is an interesting one, so White Sword Tower. It's an anti-event card, and often its text will not really do anything apart from, I mean, the first line that gives Kingsguard a boost. But in this deck, it's possible that Martell will play events in the challenges phase, and it's possible that Annals is in the deck. And then you have your to the Spears and Duran's game and Vengeance and stuff like that that needs to be played in the same phase. And then the tower is a problem. I would also kind of expect Lay Waste to be an option here for Robin. So Clitus needs to come back after the Hound trigger. And now Begging Brothers should take care of any future annoying stuff like the Hound or House Florent Knight. Escort is about to die, so defends this one. Giving lots of cards away with Late Summer Fist, and yeah, if you're fast enough, that's not a problem. But if you're not, then of course the card advantage becomes an issue. No stealth on Penny. So if he wants to win the power challenge, needs to attack with both. some connection problems, so time goes on, but in this particular game I would not expect it to matter. I think they're both looking to win in a very constructive way with the Kingsguard deck with some renown on the characters and Knights of the Hollow Hill with also with Duran's game and to the Spears and Knights of the Sun and stuff like that. So I think it's going to be quick enough to win before time becomes an issue. And here we go, so we are at the step where House Den Escort needs to be claimed, and it is. Going with just the one character here. And Robin doesn't defend, so looks like he's going to push his own challenges through instead. Military might kill Penny here. And I suspect they both know each other's deck really well here, so you know if you need to play against March to the Wall, for instance, and stuff like that. Normally you wouldn't leave Surveillance Swan alone on the board so that he could be marched, but if you know for a fact that there isn't that threat, you can try to escape the board with Septon, gain some gold, draw a card, put something else into play, whatever you have available. I don't remember exactly from the previous game we had with this deck, but I think Littlefinger's Meddling was one of the plots and probably Annals. And the last one was it Morgulis? Was that the deck that lost against Alex in round 7 when he had to play Morgulis on himself? Might have been. Or was that something else? Okay, and then we saw Super Duck passing challenges. He did not do the Intrigue one and saved it for defense, but still no tricks, so losing this one on defense. And that brings it to 5-5, and currently Robin's winning dominance before the action window. See if Scheming Septon is used and Bagging Brother keeps it in play. But getting that gold off the Bagging Brother obviously useful as well here, because of cards like the Hound and House Florent Knight. Interesting with Host of the Boneway and to the Spears, you're looking to go first with this deck. Klitos helps you do that, but the two locations are those that work with going second actually. Yeah, Little Fingers Meddling plays Summon Always Tells potentially in the plot phase to cancel when revealed effect, so it can cancel Morghulis to Harris. Maybe you win or you die, something like that, but the Tyrell line deck usually wants to kind of counter resets more than play it itself, so we see Duharis as a counter to Morghulis sometimes. And this time Little Fingers Meddling doesn't really have use for the cancel, but it can still be used for other events. So we saw the Princess Plan discarded earlier for reserve. And Secret Schemes in taxation, always a decent idea. Water Gardens is another enabler for that particular tactic. And also with the used plots now at 3, almost makes Dorn free. Little Finger. Does nothing with the traits here, so just include it for the draw, I guess. Yeah, all of these decks, Martell decks, played by the Chinese players, even other ones, but especially the ones we've seen from the Chinese players, really heavy on draw. Whether it's a reset heavy deck or a deck like this that plays on the board, always seems to be 10 cards in hand, and here we go even after exchange. Still play Secret Schemes to draw an additional 3 cards. And we have the Tattered Prince coming in with some gold, which keeps it in play for another round. If Robin wants to win within 2 rounds, that will prove useful. Otherwise, needs another way to put gold back on him. And there could be a way, because I think this deck plays Ricasso as well, so Ricasso, Pagan Brother and the Tattered Prince is enough value to then also try Unbridled Generosity in the deck. And let's see what the other side will collect here. So we have 10 gold. Milk on the begging brother, who only has one more trigger, and with the Palace of Sorrows, yeah, good chance that something annoying now happens. We have the high tower, which I've also been surprised lately to see in a banner deck that plays Lannister cards, but looks like there is still enough value. And this deck can get characters in 3 phases sometimes, so yeah, that's pretty decent. And now we have that House Florent Knight that we kind of knew was coming, and that gets rid of Cletus again. Yeah, he is the most annoying card, definitely. Most of the problems you can usually solve with the milk, like Super Duck did here, but that guy with no attachments except weapon really is there to stay most of the time, so yeah, makes sense to target him with House Florent Knight. Now we'll see if there is a chance to replay House Florent Knights in some way. No goal left, but always a chance to get more. And now 11 cards in hand. If there is stuff like To the Spears and other events, this is where White Sword Tower gets to be a little bit annoying. Each player that does not control a Kingsguard character, so is there a Kingsguard in the deck? Difficult to imagine that there could be. And that means you only get to play one. Free one, to be fair, even if it's higher cost because of the plot. And looks like House Florent Knight has served its purpose, so taken for claim. 1 renown on the Tattered Prince. And Robin is going to push on here because yeah, he is on decent power himself. If nothing is opposed, then he is already within reach of that Duran's game victory. Next round, possibly. Not bad. These 3 are not knights. Sometimes you can use it on your own characters, of course. This is a way to replay House Florent Knight. But at least that threat is now gone for Robin. And let's see if this one is defended. Unopposed power would get Robin to 10, but then a chance to strike back with unopposed challenges and renown on Sir Balon. Okay. Scheming Accept and draws a card, then of course the immediate Old Town trigger, because you know Scheming Acceptance is on top, and whatever this is now presumably can come into play for 2 gold. 8-8. And is there anything else or just the dominance win? Old Bill Bone deals the faction card, which was already knelt, so not doing anything on that front. And now, since 11 cards are in hand, I think military will be done here. Or maybe not. Still nothing used in the challenges phase as far as I remember, so first event is free if it's Vengeance for Elia. But there isn't one. And unfortunately it doesn't work out for him with the Princess Plan, so you actually need actual gold to take that. So yeah, good round here for Super Duck, getting to 10 after all of that. And now we see Unbridled Generosity is going to put power on the Tattered Prince, make sure he stays on the board, although, yeah, getting close to victory on both sides now. And is there anything else that can be done with meddling now? Water Gardens stayed standing all around. Okay, summon all of his tells in the discard pile. Possibly Annals still to come. And we see the Undercity arranging for Jamie to be on top, presumably so that Overturn hits, gets Super Duck to 11 now. I'm not sure actually how much you can, so what does this do exactly? Place the other on top, yeah, you can arrange it a bit in advance. So the white swords, hand or discard pile. Hound has no targets. Baron probably not. That is also something from hand. And this time there is no gold for that cancel. So Tyrell character from hand also feeds the high tower immediately, which is pretty decent value. Nothing it seems, so just duping Cerbellon. So Robin won initiative, decided to go second. Going first if you have the gold and the cards with Turan's game and some renown, you can possibly win, but doesn't look like he has that situation, so he's just going to make sure that Super Duck doesn't get to 15, and then if too much stuff is knelt, you can try that way. Unfortunately for him, I think the main block is this white sword tower, so this time Secret Schemes draws 4, but yeah, having all the events here to the spears and Duran's game and whatever else there is not it's not that great. Now if you could blanket, that would be pretty good then. Yeah, definitely a good card against an event heavy deck. And now if we see more knights coming into play, like this one, a non-kneeler, you can do the challenges, force characters to defend without spending your own resources. If you can get to 15, you're not then so exposed to the counter-attack. Guild Hall. Still searching for cards. There's still a bit of gold left. We know that Jamie is in hand. Looks like day for connection problems all around. Even here I have some pictures loading very slowly, so it's not great. And here comes the knight that was missing and the useful power icon. It's not a particularly dominating board though. And there should be some stuff coming in now with decent gold. Down to the last 15 minutes, even though it's only round 4. That's mostly down to the connection problems, I think, but as I said, it's they're fast decks, so it's not going to make a difference. The Iron Throne, so that stops the main threat of Duran's game. That stops that going from 8 to potentially 13 in one go. I said political disaster wasn't going to be a problem with 2 dupes, but now lots of locations have entered play since. But yeah, he knows the deck, and he knows what plots there are probably, so no political disaster. And here comes the Renown. 2 characters with Renown, so along with the Tattered Prince now. That makes a big difference, and Sword of the Morning can pull characters into a challenge, get rid of them to clear out the way for some unopposed. I'm assuming he drew that with Secret Schemes or with in the draw phase, because if he had it to begin with, I think he would have gone first possibly here. And this is going to call Duran's game surely. claims to the spears instead. Well, 3 non-kneeling characters with renown. So that's 3 in one challenge, 3 in the other. It's 6 power. It's even stronger than Duran's game in theory. So that's a decent call. Giving Duran's game a chance to be played on defense. But it's not... it's close to being strong enough. That would get him to 12 and renown 13, not quite. So just defending this with a little finger. Possibly there is something to protect. So nothing used so far. Let's have a quick look. The Iron Bank will have its due, and the Hand's Judgment are the 2 useful cards here. And on the other side, okay, Generosity is probably not going to be used in the challenges phase. Prince's Plan can be taken back to hand. Someone always stays too expensive. Hand's Judgment. It's not gonna win the cancel battle because of White Sword Tower here. That might be little finger gone now. And he's not taking Prince's Plan back to hand, which means he has a plan for that 1 gold. And here is one that if he can defend, he will try, I think, because power claim and renown, and gets Super Duck on the verge of victory. Only attacking with 5, so currently that can be defended quite reasonably, even with it's the final challenge, so even with the 3 renowned characters, seems like good value to defend this. Question is, are there tricks? No. Defending with 9, that leaves him with 4, which is not enough to win against these 2. And what can he do? Can he manipulate the icons? Attached character gets +1 strength. Okay, so that brings the strength up against these 2, so yeah, it would be enough. He can force defenders, but not Green Apple Knight, who doesn't have the icon, for instance, to clear the way for unopposed in the other 2 challenges. nothing in shadows. So Septon still available with also the Iron Bank will have its due to gain gold, but questionable whether there is something to spend it on. And he does pull the two characters with the power icon into this challenge. Yeah, they're automatically selected. Power Klein and Renown. And now what do you do? Going for the intrigue, which currently he can win. And this is opposed, and Super Duck still has the dominance. Now, is there any ambush or anything like that? I think Arjo Hotach is ambush 6 and then used by 4, so he's too expensive here. And nothing at all used from the discard pile by either player in the challenges phase, so White Sword Tower is a problem, and to the spears was blocked. 12-12, Skimming Septon is on top. So that's one to use in the standing phase, and now as for the other phases, let's see. Yeah, just unbridled generosity, I guess, and then there is the hand's judgment that will go to waste, so I think you may as well cancel that, right? No? Okay. Gold doesn't actually do anything, and the last round should be the final one. I don't think either player plays a reset. Certainly Robin is not going to play his Morgulis if it's one of the last two plots, and I don't think Super Duck plays it at all. And now since Cletus is still here, that's plus 5 to the initiative value, so he is quite likely to win it, as long as it's not 2 zeros or anything like that. Going first, I think, possibly wins the game here for either player. Maybe not for Super Duck. There is a lot of defense, so power challenge with Baron would do it, obviously, or just any challenge, since there is also Old Town. While Robin, I think he can push the challenges through if he goes first. He tried so hard, Super Duck, to get rid of Cletus, but here he is still. not dead, and there is one in the discard pile. Exchange 4 plus 5, that's 9, so not guaranteed, but yeah, against 6 it does win. This is not going to help that much. You can give him a copy of Cletus and Unbridled Generosity. The Hound comes into play. Now, who is a knight? Quentin is a knight, and Knights of the Sun is a knight, so that gets rid of 1 power. Power challenge with Renown needs 3 of them, so replaying Knights of the Sun and pushing the power challenge through is good enough, if he can. And assuming no other removal gets played on his characters with Renown here. And now comes the other event that needs the faction card, gaining 5 gold, so really nicely done here. Yeah, Knights of the Hollow Hill, usually used with the other game plan, but works with this one just as well, as we see here. Getting that number 5, helped by Prince Duran's behest, so even without Galtown, Secret Schemes and in Duran's name do some great work, as does Cletus. And now 5 gold already gained, so that's another 3 should be 8. 12 and the Water Gardens, but on the other side yeah, that's 11 and High Tower Triggers and Gates of the Moon, so another one for this side. Definitely lots of stuff coming in on both sides of the board. But really, I think going for the power icons here is the main objective. And here comes some Intimidate as well. You can go for these two first, just to clear the way for the power challenge with 3 Renown, as you can see. The Iron Throne not used in marshalling phase, I guess. It's not really a huge hand, so you name something and then okay, whatever else is in hand gets played instead. So, and it's blind as well. You know that Knights of the Sun is in hand, but you don't know about the others. Now let's see what Superduck does. Is that a concession, or does he have a solution? House Florent Knight cannot really remove anything. It would target Old Billbone currently. So Robert Strong in Shadows, doesn't appear to be any cancel. Something anyway. Sir Osmond. Okay, that can get something decent. Just to defend, of course. Sword of the Morning, pretty strong. Works along with the Intimidates to kneel out part of the board. And now the gold is questionable, so 3 left. Scheming Septon still available, so yeah, still the threat of Sir Robert Strong does exist. Now let's see if no tricks were used, what the calculation is on just on the power challenge. So there's just 13 here, and then on defense there would be 22. That's with 6 defenders, which brings the strength to 19. So he can't just open with a power challenge and win that way. He needs to do the Host of the Boneway Intimidates first. Now they all have the military icon, but then there is no claim, so that's only 14. And it's still a difficult calculation because the position has military icons too. 1 goal left. To the spears could be cancelled again, or prevented, I should say, with Iron Throne. That stops standing characters attacking, so that Sir Robert Strong can get them. Now, if he calls it thinking, is played on the Iron Throne. That has to spend 1 gold then, and with Scheming Septon that would now not be enough for Sir Robert Strong without additional gold gain. But let's see, maybe I'm overthinking here. Yeah, he does name it, and does so successfully. So now the Tattered Prince is exposed. Of course, he does not name Duran's game. Can't have it both ways. And that's 21, so you already need to defend this one with at least 17, and that's without spending any of the power icons. And that doesn't appear to be possible. Okay. Hand Judgment, and the Iron Bank will have its due in hand. That would still give him some kind of chance. But we're really asking for a perfect hand now, so 2 of the 5 cards in hand, and then Sir Robert Strong in shadows. Yeah, what are the odds? There is good draw and there is good filtering with the Undercity, but 30 of the 60 cards in, so that's not quite enough to get the perfect solution for everything. But if he does have it, I think possibly we're having connection problems here. Because either you have that solution or you don't, and you're just going to defend to find out whether there is the runs game. We have the Knight of Flowers coming in from Sir Balon's ability. Now that helps my situation that I described, because there is now one more gold from Hightower. So you need 5 for Sir Robert Strong, and you have some gold for other stuff potentially. But yeah, the icons still don't work out for this particular challenge. So if Duran's game is in hand and Hand's Judgment is not, then it's game over either way. He's drawn more than half of his deck, and Duran's game has not been seen yet. I assume there are 3, so chances are it's in hand. That's the only card he can play against White Sword Tower, so Hand's Judgment is guaranteed to work. And now grabbing some more gold even before declaring defenders here with Skimming Septon. Okay, so is the plan now to defend against the Duran's game? If he kills Clitus, that leaves 18. No, okay. Here we go. Hand's Judgment or not? Not. Okay. Nice one. Actually, yeah, lots of gold gains, so that wasn't that guaranteed. Suddenly, with I'm guessing it's Sir Robert Strong. He's one of the solutions I can think of that actually works here, because he takes this guy out with the 2 renown. So if that was in shadows here, suddenly can't really push the power challenge through with the renown anymore, and yeah, no way to stop renown coming in from the other side, and even without anything, basically just all the renown, dominance, Old Town. Yeah, good game, nice close one. 6 rounds with these 2 pretty fast decks, or actually 5 rounds, because this one skips a plot. So yeah, that eliminates Super Duck from the tournament. Let's have a look. And puts Robin here into the second round of the losers bracket. So he plays Adam in that, and Vodka against Alex is the other one. They need to win from here. Loss for anyone in the losers bracket takes them out of the tournament, so they need to win this one, and then winner Smith again, and whoever wins that one still needs to play the loser of Robert against Reinhardt. So all of that just to make the finals, and then you need to win 2 there as well. So tough job, but someone will get to the finals, so there will be someone who manages it. So looking forward to that next weekend. I'm not sure which games will be played. I assume only from the bottom bracket, or is this one going to be played as well? We'll have to wait and see on that. I guess it doesn't matter. The exact timing doesn't matter. This one needs to be played and it's not affected by the losers bracket, so they could play it today or just before the loser needs to play the winner of this one. So doesn't matter, at some point that one will be played, and we'll concentrate mainly on the losers bracket in the meantime, and should be very, very interesting, especially the Chinese players meeting, who really seem to know all of these decks that they play, and makes for some very high quality games. So okay, thanks for joining me on all the games this weekend, and hopefully we'll see you next weekend as well in the China versus Europe Championship. So take care.